Hey crafters! Today I'm going to share one of my favorite types of cards, a galaxy card, and I'm going to add some of my favorite new die cuts. I hope you enjoy! So today I'm going to be using the Tim Holtz die called Arthur. It's a Colorize one, and I'll also be showing Winifred. You could use any large die for this. It doesn't have to be these exact ones. So I'm going to start by making a crazy and colorful panel. Using my finger daubers, I'm going to twist them so I get a fingerprint-like pattern, and I'm going to repeat this with my typical rainbow colors of Distress Ink. I'm also going to add a little bit of pink in there for an extra touch. I'll list all the colors below in the description. Now, of course, you could use this technique on any colors. It doesn't have to be these. For instance, if you wanted to just use different shades of purple, you could do that. Or you could even use Distress Oxides. It depends what kind of card you're making and what color effect you're going for. Now I thought I'd show one of my hacks for organizing my craft supplies. So my finger daubers are all organized by color. So what I did is I just cut a little strip of paper and then I put the right color on with Distress Inks, and then I turned it into a sticker with my sticker maker. You could also use double-sided adhesive for this. And then I took the strip and wrapped it around the finger dauber, and that way I knew what color I used with that finger dauber. I put all my finger daubers in this cute little tray. It's actually a lipstick holder that I got at a pound store, and it's perfect for storage. Now I wanted one more fancy panel for Arthur, so what I did is I used Chipped Sapphire Distress Ink and then blended that onto a panel, and then I used my Hero Arts Unicorn White and I dabbed this with the same twisting motion over the panel just so that there were a few polka dots here and there. Because this is a pigment ink, I made sure that I dried it with my heating tool before I was ready to die cut. So the main piece of Arthur, as well as these three pieces, will be cut with that crazy rainbow background. This piece, minus that W, will be cut with the purple. These three pieces will be with the blue. The eyebrows will be in black, the eyes will be in white, and the beak, minus those claws, will be cut with orange. Now with the magic of YouTube and some editing, you'll see the finished Arthur. I've also cut another main piece with this burnished rose paper, and that will help to create a drop shadow which will make him stand out on our background. Now to create the galaxy, I'm going to start with Twisted Citron and create a focal panel on my card. Once I'm happy with that, I'm going to add some Peacock Feathers Distress Ink and blend that into the Twisted Citron, and you'll get a third color in between there. Then I'm going to add some Chipped Sapphire on the top and bottom corners of the panel and blend those colors all together. And I'm going to keep blending until I have a beautiful galaxy background. Now you could change this galaxy sky into an Aurora Borealis scene just by adding a little bit of ground at the bottom here. Here's another crafty hack for you. I used those leftover pieces I decorated with the finger daubers to give a container on my craft desk a little makeover, and I sealed this with clear acrylic paint. Now back to the card. I'm using some stamps from this Altenew set called Crafty Life. This one says, "My world is more colorful with you in it." So after stamping this with clear sticky ink, I'm applying the brass colored embossing powder. So my embossing powder was sticking a little bit today, so I just used a little paintbrush to remove the extra bits and tap the card, and then it was ready to be heat embossed. If you don't have the patience to remove the powder with a paintbrush like this, just make sure that it's completely dry before you start. Now I'm going to apply my anti-static bag and then use the little heart stamp from the same stamp set and ink this all over the card in random places just to make the background a tiny bit more interesting. Then I'm going to apply the same embossing powder and heat emboss that with my gun. Now I did get a little bit of a smudge at the top of my card panel, which you'll see in a second here. So I'm going to cover that up with some ink splattering. This will also give my background that galaxy feel. So I'm just going to mix up the paint, and then I'm going to put a little bit on my acrylic block, hold my block over the panel, and tap my paintbrush. And I'm just going to continue doing this until I'm happy with it, using the paint from my acrylic block like a palette. Now once that's dry, I'm ready to move on to the next step. Now I noticed that the sentiment was a little bit difficult to read, so I just went back and added a bit more chipped sapphire onto the bottom. I'm still not 100% happy with the sentiment, but you'll see how I fix it later. So now I'm going to use some white liquid glue and glue Arthur onto the shiny metallic drop shadow. Then I'm going to add some more glue and glue both pieces onto my galaxy. This way he's floating in space. So once I'm happy with the position on the background, I'm just going to put my acrylic blocks on top or something heavy to make sure it lies flat until it's completely dry. So now I'm going to adhere this onto a 5 by 7 inch card base, and that way it'll have a little white trim around the outside. Now here's the finished card, and you'll notice I put a little bit of black pen around the words so they stand out more. And then the same background completed with Winifred in a different color scheme with the same stamps. I hope my galaxy cards have given you some ideas. Thanks again for joining me today. I hope you found this inspiring. And also, thank you for your positivity and support.